Good day. It is Friday, August the 7th, 2026. And what are we letting go of today? And that is the Page of Cups. And what are we letting grow today? And that is the Six of Cups. So the Page of Cups is water signs. They're both water signs today. So it's emotions, intuition, relationship, healing, compassion, and spiritual connection. The Page of Cups, water element, often associated with the youthful expressions of Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces today. And with the Six of Cups, today's reading carries a beautiful, gentle energy, speaking of healing of the heart, reconnecting with the innocence for the Six of Cups, and discovering that emotional maturity doesn't mean losing your sense of wonder. It means learning to love the wisdom instead of the fear. So we are letting go of the Page of Cups, which is releasing that emotional immaturity that keeps repeating old patterns. So a few days ago, we had the Five of Swords and the Five of Pentacles. And when I think of fives, I think of that repeating pattern. I think of the swords. I think of that looping of thoughts back and forth. So this is saying today that we can release that emotional immaturity that keeps these looping. We are ready and in a position now that we realize that keeping those emotions flowing in that direction isn't necessarily good for us. We're letting go of seeking validation from others before trusting our own feelings. So this is always looking outside of yours for the information when you know internally that you know what's going on. You don't need to ask for it, but you still feel that you need that validation sometimes. And this is saying to you now that you're at the emotional maturity and the point that you don't need to do that anymore. Express your emotions from an honest standpoint. You can be true to your emotions. You know that emotions rise and fall like waves, and they come in and out like waves, and that your emotions aren't going to hurt you. They might not be comfortable when they're happening, but they're not going to hurt you. Stop believing that your sensitivity is a weakness. You can see there the little heart energy right there, the heart over the ocean. And he is wistfully thinking and feeling through that heart center, hopes and dreams and past things that have happened, and may have heard one too many times when he was younger, that'll happen when pigs fly. This is asking you to tap into that beautiful emotional state and knowing that that's not a weakness, that if your dreams did escape you and caused you some bit of emotional upset, that's fine. That's just the way life is, and you can tap into that feeling. Trust your intuition. If it's speaking softly or if it screams, make sure that you can tap into that information, those feelings, and know that you are on the right path for you. For Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, this is a reminder that your heart is one of your greatest gifts. So stay open to wonder. But remember also that intuition becomes even more powerful when it is supported by experience and healthy boundaries. So the page is letting us see that we've made it through the smaller cards, the aces to the tens. So we're now ready for that high school, young adult energy. We have done some work. The 10 of Cups is a beautiful community card, love card, support card, card of love and family. And now we're ready to move it up a notch and really learn who we are ourselves in our own sensitivities and in our own intuitive nature. And we are not scared of that, because we are leading by that heart center. A lot of blue in the card, so there's a lot of communication involved with this as well. And of course, the water being emotion. So what are we letting grow today? And that is the Six of Cups. Once again, we are a water sign. It is Sun in Scorpio. Emotion, intuition, relationships, healing, compassion, and spiritual connection. And we are letting grow compassion for the person that you used to be. So that's absolutely beautiful. So, as you're moving through this journey, we are looking at ourselves through those compassionate eyes. And you can see him there as he's older with his dog. and he's remembering the younger years when he was younger and the dog was a puppy. And we want to show compassion to that inner child. And in a lot of the work that I'm doing right now with internal family systems, there are good times and there are bad times at this little, or challenging times with this little inner child. And sometimes it gets locked into the exile position. And this is asking us to show that warmth, that compassion, and that love to that little inner child today. Reconnect with joy, playfulness, and gratitude. Everything is coming from the heart today from this reading, and is asking you to make that soul connection to your younger self. Make that heart connection and really honor that journey through your life so far. But also don't forget the playfulness, how much you had fun when you were younger, the joyful times, the times when your emotion was laughter and happiness. You didn't have a care in the world. You could just be in and sit in those emotions. And I love how in this card here, it sort of reminds me of the energy of the Hierophant, which to me is the joy card, the coloring in this card, tapping into that higher realm, and almost seeing the inner child, that journey as sanctity, as the ultimate spiritual quest, looking back on how far that you've come, but looking at it through mature eyes. Allow your old wounds to become sources of your wisdom rather than your pain. So that's exactly it. It's like, see how far that you've come. All of the scars that you used to wear, they are now your badges of honor. And with that, with the things that happened in your past, sorrows as well as joys, you can look at this on a beautiful set of eyes and see how you've grown as a person and the wisdom that you've carried with you through your own star lineage, through your own walking this path. Welcome the healing conversations and meaningful connections. Once again, these being heart-based or emotion-based reading today, both being cups, there's just such a sense of joy and intuition and that heart, beautiful heart energy, and just coming at this not with sad eyes, but with the eyes of beauty and that connection, and knowing that your whole journey has been about healing. I posted something in Akasha's Healing Hands on Facebook the other day. I'll pop it into the Hive as well. And it's about the story of Chiron being injured, but being an incredible healer, but could never heal themselves. And it really touched base with me emotionally that, with having chronic illness and helping others on their healing path and watching people change and grow and heal and move forward, there is that sense of sadness and frustration every now and then that I'm not healing, but I have come so far. So this is asking myself to see this as a meaningful connection in my own journey as well. And remember that your inner child wants nothing more than your love, and it absolutely deserves your love. So to come at your inner child with that sense of understanding, compassion, and love. For Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, the Six of Cups invites you to honor your memories without becoming trapped inside of them. This past can become your teacher rather than a place that you continue to live. Connect with that energy and use it as a thread of wisdom. I just keep seeing this, like this sanctity of this star bridge and this bridge coming down through your lineage, and with the cups there laid out the way they are, exactly that bridge between the young you and the you of today. Seeing how far you've come, what your journey is, the healing that's happened along the way. Honor that and love yourself. So this whole reading feels like opening an old photo album. The page arrives carrying a message from the heart, curious, hopeful, and sensitive, reminding us that the part of ourselves that believed anything was possible, the child who dreamed without limits, the soul that trusted life before it became absolutely complicated. And then the Six of Cups appears to us, and it doesn't ask you to go back. It asks you to remember. The Page of Cups says, don't lose your sense of wonder. And the Six of Cups gently replies, and don't forget how far you've come. Together, these cards weave a beautiful story about emotional healing. Sometimes we spend years trying to become someone new, but healing isn't always about becoming someone new. It's about returning home, returning to kindness, returning to creativity, and returning to joy. Returning to the parts of ourselves that existed before fear convinced us we needed to be somebody completely different. So the Six of Cups reminds us that the past can be visited with love instead of regret. You don't have to carry every painful memory forever. In the teachings of Dr. Joe Dispenza, when you look back with the grief and move forward, how do you know the grief is healed? It's when that grief becomes wisdom. So that's what this is telling us. Those memories become wisdom. They become gratitude. And some just simply remind us of how much we have traveled forward, how big this path of life has taken us on, the joys, the sorrows, the grief, the happiness, the love, the heart loss, the heartache. It's everything. And your inner child doesn't need perfection. It simply needs to know that the adult you become finally here to help them and protect them. So this is all about recognizing this and bringing that exile home into safety under your own wings. The greatest gift you can offer yourself today isn't another achievement. It's a permission to laugh, to create, to dream, to play, and to love your life again. So release the fear of feeling too deeply. You're allowed to do that. And growing the relationship with joy, happiness, and compassion that comes from honoring both the past and the present. Your heart has survived many seasons. Now let's remember to help it bloom. So if you could sit beside your younger self today, what words of love and reassurance and encouragement would you offer to yourself? And how might your life change if you allowed yourself to receive that same kindness today? So that is it for the reading. Absolutely beautiful. Couple really good bang home readings the last couple of days. Yeah. That would be me throwing the cards all over the floor. So I am finishing this off with the Law of Positivism. Or maybe I'm not. Woo! Fell down, but I will grab it anyway. And this is movement helps my energy and emotions flow. So to me, this is actually calling out to the playfulness of what the other cards were talking about, getting into that sensitivity, into that movement, remembering. When we talk about releasing trauma from the body, a lot of times we talk about somatic movement and how that helps trapped emotion flow through and let go. And I love how this is also a flow card. So to me, this is, again, this is ocean, this is water, this is moving through all the layers. You can see the moth up there. So there was a big transformation from it's either moth or I think it's a moth or a butterfly. So it's gone through the chrysalis to the rebirth, flowing through to the transformation of new self. And I love how she has various echoes of herself there, which to me also calls out to this card of the echo of the past. So going through that flow, through that motion, through that emotion. Motion is energy in motion. So let that flow through today. Let that transform. Let that transpire. Get in touch with your younger self and shake it loose. And that's how I see it today. Have a good one. I will see you next week. Bye.